is Respect Time, Joseph Cedillo.
Is it okay if we get a little bit uncomfortable here? So everyone, I want you to interlace your fingers together like this. So whoever has their left thumb over their right thumb, what it represents is that you're a good-looking person. Whoever has their right thumb over their left thumb, that means you're an intelligent person. And whoever has it side by side just means you're just kind of all screwed up. I am fairly old, as you might notice. One of the things that I've gone through life that I've heard over time and time again on a big discussion is time management. Time management. It's even in one of the Toastmasters book as a category is time management. I'm here to tell you that there's no such thing as time management. You can't manage time. Time travels at the same pace every hour, every second, forever. It doesn't change. What you manage is yourself within time. So the better question is, how well are you at managing yourself? See, I realize that time equals your life. So if you're wasting time, you are wasting your life. But how do you get the most out of your time? What you do is you prioritize your time. And how valuable is time? Because we're only here for so long on this earth. Some more than others, some less than others. But you have valuable time. So how valuable is time? If you want to know how valuable a year is, ask the child who fell to grade how important that year is. If you want to know the value of a month, ask the mother of a premature baby how important that extra month would have been. If you want to know the value of an hour, ask two lovers who are just anxiously waiting to see each other how long that hour seems. If you want to know the value of a minute, ask someone who just missed the train. They go over in their head time and time again, like, what could I have done differently to make this train or this bus? They just kind of review. And if you want to know the value of a second, ask someone who just nearly missed a fatal car crash. That second would have been the difference between life and death. You want to know the value of a millisecond? Talk to an athlete who just received a silver instead of a gold in the Olympics. See, time is valuable, and what you do with it is everything. And like I said before, how do you manage time? How do you manage yourself within time? It's prioritizing. There is a great author out there by the name of Stephen Covey, and he wrote a book called First Things First. And in that book, there's a story in that book that talks about, is a professor, and he's a physics professor. His students come into class. On his desk, he has a large glass cylinder, and next to the cylinder is a basket full of large rocks. The students fall in, take their seats. He's carefully placing these rocks in this glass cylinder, fills it to the top. He asks the class, is the cylinder full? And so the class is like, yeah, it's full. And he goes, well, is it? He pulls out from behind the counter a bag of pebbles. He takes the pebbles, pours it into the cylinder. It funnels around the larger rocks, fills it to the top. Now he asks the class again, class, is the jar full? And the students are, oh, now we get it now. Okay, now it's full. And then one student's like, but is it? He's like, well, let's see. He pulls out a bag of sand, grabs the sand, pours it into the jar, filters it in, fills it up to the top. So class, now is the jar full? Yes, the jar is full. Hold on a minute, the professor says. He grabs a bottle of water, pours the water into the jar, fills that to the top. So he asks the class, what is the moral of this story? And one of the students, they're like, oh, we can always get more time in. And so when it comes to time management, yeah, that's what it is. When it comes to time management, you can always get more in. And the professor says, no, that is not the moral of the story. The moral of the story is that if you don't start with the big rocks first, you'll never get them in. See, if you start with the water or the sand, those rocks will never fit. So what do the big rocks represent? The big rocks represent priorities. And depending on what your life consists of, depending on what your day consists of, depending on what your job consists of, it will change your priorities. So if you start with the big rocks first, and then you can move on to the pebbles, then you can move on to the sand, you can move on to the water. And so when you get to like the water, what does that represent? It might be insignificant, it might be something minor. It might be like today's emails or social media. It's always fun to send text messages of funny quotes, but what that does, it eats up your time. And you may never get to the big rocks. You may never get to your priorities. So I just want you to remember today that in your life, remember to respect time and appreciate it. Start with your big rocks, and you will have a more successful, productive day. Mr. Coach.